His world is on the water, with rod and reel in hand. His world is in the wilderness, rugged and wild. His world is travel to the far ends of the earth, seeking adventure and bringing it to you in the outdoor world of Castaway Coulis. Joe Castaway Coulis, a world-class outdoorsman, will take you from Africa to the Arctic, into the world of fishing, hunting, travel, and excitement. Now you're invited to come along and experience for yourself the outdoor world of Castaway Coulis.
Well, I got here and I'm at the big food plot where a lot of deer have been here. As I came up, there was a nice, I didn't get the count, probably an 8-pointer, but the neat thing about it is it was past his ears and possible shooter, but there were a lot of deer in here feeding. I tried to sneak in here and they stayed for a while, but there were 3 or 4 bucks, that one a small 8, bunch of does, but I'm really impressed with this brassicas that I put in here, because boy, I've planted it in the past and never had the success. This is all frigid forage. Beastly beets are, but look at this stuff. Wow, it's really good. Oh man, thick, and boy, I never had it like this. Really happy how this has come up. Still got some strips that didn't plant, but I'm almost, it had to be with the cedar that we were using, because right next to it is solid. So it, boy oh boy. Okay, well, it's getting that time of year. Deer in here feeding for sure, because they got a lot of food. And now the nice thing about this is that come later in the deer season, when the snow flies, the bucks and the does both are going to have food. So no matter how the snow is, they'll be in here digging, boy, for sure, because then when you get the heavy frost, it turns more to sugar. That's why I'm surprised they're in here. But it's been so dry that I think the reasoning being, this is where the only green is. The lawns where the deer around and other fields, there's just nothing that's green. And this is where all the greens are. And there must have been, when I came into this field, I'd say there were at least 10 deer. Now I also noticed when I was driving in that the clover field, which of course is green and doing well, had quite a few deer, maybe half a dozen, but there were a lot in here, and the big deer were in here as well, but they're with the does, but they're in here feeding. But I think we're in a drought. We're supposed to get some rain in the next few days, which will really get this going. But with the weather and it's dry, to have this field looking the way it is, boy oh boy, that's really good. I can't believe there's a deer way at the end wanting to get back in here, and I'm sure when I leave here they'll be piling back in here. And got my blind there, but yeah, this here is somewhere actually too much seed fell, and that's why this is kind of hurting it for size. But then look at right there, and everywhere. It looks like a cabbage field. Oh boy. Oh boy. Very good, boy, when you put the time and energy in. Oh. It hopefully is worth it. Well, I came over and we're gonna check to see as I look off into the clover field. I could see some deer out there feeding. Don't seem to be bothered by me, but so this plot was, the soil's not as good. I didn't expect much out of this year. I was hoping. Took care of it the same, fertilized it, but there's no comparison as I look at this one. These are all deer tracks, so they got it tore up in here. Wow, well, but here's a barren spot where it didn't go, but as I look through here and I see the where it planted, this is like what I've been having the last few years. It looks like this. Boy, there's a lot of deer tracks though. Well, they've been feeding on it. I could look and see that, I don't know if you could, but I can tell that this has definitely been, yeah, they've been feeding on it quite a bit. So it's not getting a chance, but so these deer tracks are actually because they're in here feeding. That other plot, but the other plot is bigger. This is maybe quarter of an acre or so. The other's an acre and a half. But as I look through it, I could see that it's really been nipped and been fed on pretty heavily. So, okay, well, they're at least feeding on it. So it's, that's encouraging. I mean, they got food here, and it's, but as I said about the other place, I've been checking my feeder. I don't have a block feeder. I just have the minerals in there, and they're working on it a little bit, but, and having a camera to see, to monitor. I think I'm going to monitor out in the field, change it to there, but so encouraging. I mean, they're in here feeding for sure. It's just, yeah, there's more lush and gonna last longer, but they're in here too. So that's a good sign. There's food for them, and all we got to do is wait for weather to get a little cooler, and we'll start spending some time in the blind. Really, a really important thing is preparation. And earlier in the year, spent a lot of time tilling it in and getting rid of the bad weeds and so forth. I didn't spray, but I have to say, I think I cultivated it 3 times, and it showed. I don't see very many weeds, come to think of it. Looking through there is, in a small food plot, there are some, but not like it was in the big food plot. There was a lot in there that I cultivated in, and it is really doing well. So that preparation is very, very important. And I hadn't been fertilizing before I planted, but when I talked to the gentleman at Frigid Forge, he said that's a must. And I actually put a little bit, maybe more than required, not a lot, but it looks like it made a difference, because that looks like a cabbage field or lettuce field. So they're going to have a lot of food for a lot of time. And I checking the small plot, it's been hammered, but the plants aren't doing as well, but the soil's not as good. And soil preparation is so important. It's a lot of work, and you can't cut corners, but when you put all that time in and you do the required work, look at it, it paid off. The other thing is the other food plots are clover, and same thing. I worked them and mowed it a few times to get the weeds down, and next to the big plot, that's where the next concentration of deer are, and there's a lot of deer in there. So it is important pre-planting, and then of course, like with clover, maintaining it, cutting it periodically, mainly to control the weeds. And I did that, and then there's some bare spots in there, so I'm definitely going to take and overseed it in the wintertime. Probably February, I'll go in and just throw more seed in the bare spots, frost seeding it's called, to get that going. So it when you put the time and energy in and you see the results and that they're good and it was worth it, it's a lot easier to do it next year again. So we'll keep you abreast of progress, what it's produced. Hopefully get some video of some big bucks, and we'll see how that goes. So just got to work at it.